Let's talk about The Hunger Games, and I will be brutally honest about this movie because it is the worst movie in the series. And if I want to compare this movie to The Hunger Game Mockingjay Part 1, I'd say The Mockingjay Part 1 is better. Just imagine how bad that this movie is. Complete the video to the end so that you know all my feelings and thoughts about it. And how much is my rating for the film out of 10? Now, let me give you a brief overview of the story.
Your role is to turn these children into spectacles, not survivors.
What's the story? The Hunger Games is set 64 years prior to the events depicted in the Hunger Games movie. Coriolanus Snow, a senior attending the academy in the capital, conceals a secret. He, along with his cousin Tigris and their grandmom, struggle to make ends meet despite their old capital lineage. Coriolanus, who ranks first in his class, aspires to secure a scholarship for university. However, before that can happen, Casta Highbottom, the dean of the academy and the creator of Hunger Games, along with Dr. Valonia Gall, the game maker, decide to assign mentors to each of the 24 students at the academy for the district tributes. Initially disappointed by being paired with Lucy Gray Baird from District 12, who may not appear impressive, Coriolanus is taken aback when she surprises everyone by singing at the reaping ceremony. Coriolanus makes the strategic choice to leverage Lucy Gray's popularity among the capital audiences, persuades her to place her trust in his guidance. They join forces to devise a plan that not ensures her survival in the arena, but also increases his chances of winning the prize. Why The Hunger Games is failing? When it comes to The Hunger Games, I really enjoyed the first movie. Found Catching Fire to be quite engaging. However, I felt that the last two movies didn't quite live up to my expectations. They were split into two parts, which reminded me of when all those Twilight movies were split into two, and it seemed like everyone was trying to do that at the time. Recently this year, Dead Reckoning Part 1. The Mission Impossible movie did it, and most movies don't do that anymore. And for a good reason, I think. And then in an interview recently, Francis said that he felt that wasn't the best idea, and he would never do that again. But the movie itself is split up with title cards that appear as Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. And that identifies these very different sections of the story, especially the third part, which we'll talk about in a second going in. I went into this movie with no expectations. Honestly, I didn't really enjoy the Hunger Games films. Usually when a studio revisits a franchise years later and changes the cast and story a bit, it doesn't turn out to be the movie. It's usually not the best movie, and you can kind of tell. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you won't miss out on my videos. My goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I would greatly appreciate your support in helping me achieve that goal. The character. 1. Coriolanus Snow.
You're just like, it's so natural at all times, and so light and buoyant, and it's beautiful.
The story centers around Coriolanus Snow, the president. But here we have a determined government recruit who comes from a disadvantaged background.
So fresh every time. Every take is just kind of like raw.
He aspires to improve his family's life through politics. This leads to Snow's progression through the ranks and his significant involvement as a mentor to 2. Lucy Gray Baird.
I've always been a huge Hunger Games fan. Catching Fire is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Lucy Gray Baird is a defiant musician who inspires Snow to suggest taking Hunger Games in a new direction to make people love and take root for their favorite racers. 3. Viola Davis.
I've broken free of my laboratory today to examine you.
Viola Davis delivers a standout performance in the movie, portraying a character who can be described as a scientist. It's clear that she thoroughly enjoyed playing this role. Initially, I felt that she may have been slightly overdoing it at times, almost bordering on being cartoonish. However, I couldn't have fun whenever her character appeared on screen. At first, I found myself laughing at the character. Eventually found myself laughing along with her. Viola Davis has a talent for selling the most unremarkable things, just like room temperature flat beer. She truly knows how to excel in her craft. 4. Peter Dinklage.
About him, he's a brilliant man, but he realizes he's made a terrible mistake. It's sort of like he didn't think through the consequences of it. He didn't fully understand or think about the consequences of his creation.
Peter Dinklage showed appreciation towards the individual for creating the Hunger Games. One can only imagine the admiration Gratitude that person must have felt on a basis knowing that Peter Dinklage was not far away. There's no need to convince anyone of Peter Dinklage's greatness because it is widely acknowledged. He brings a magic with him wherever he goes. 5. Jason Schwartzman. Jason Schwartzman, an actor who portrays entertaining twinkle men, possesses a sense of comic comfort that never becomes excessive. Every time he appeared on the screen, I fully enjoyed his presence, which made him the most prominent among the actors. 6. Josh Andrews Rivera. Finally, we have Josh Andrews Rivera, who portrays Snow's friend and rival at university. His presence adds an element of conflict, for Snow leading to moral dilemmas and creating a palpable tension not only between the two characters, but also throughout the entire story. Is it any weak? The film seems to have received reviews from both the audience and critics. Personally, I have a hunch about why it feels like filmmakers haven't given it their attention. The initial scenario seems to have focused on the assistant of the 8th District Hospital. However, for now, someone higher in the decision-making process decided not to bring back this character because it was so good. Instead, they chose to delve into the story of President Snow's origin. Unfortunately, this shift in focus does not quite reach the goal. The latter half of the film feels rushed, as if they are just trying to get past it while still being honest to the beats of the story of the book on which it is based. They didn't do work with this part, or the third part if we consider it a 3-part film. It seems like the movie is a combination of 3 stories. Additionally, the third part is quite bothersome. There are aspects that make you wonder why they thought it would be beneficial to merge these 2 movies. I'm not sure why they were so insistent on making it one that detracts from the experience. If they had divided it into 2 films, it would have been easier for them to develop our characters and their motivations. This way, by the end, there would be a logical payoff. However, in this film, when you reach part 3, everything just falls apart. It becomes a mess of events happening for no reason and causing more harm than good. I think that the most beautiful part when watching a movie is discussing the topic with other people. So tell me what you think about The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. What you like about the movie, what you hate about the movie, and how much you give the film out of 10. I will tell you my rate at the end of the video. What is my rate? Overall, the movie is not something I've ever seen. However, it is certainly the worst part of the Hunger Games series. There is no doubt about it, not just because I'm not part of it, although that has an impact. The film simply looks like a monotonous mess. Honestly, I don't think it's worth investing your time in. So my rating for the movie is 5 out of 10. Do not forget to tell me your rating out of 10, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel.